There are some marvelous monuments erected to pay tribute to the Underground Railroad. None more moving than at Detroit and at Windsor. There on the Detroit side are slaves, obviously led by a Underground Railroad conductor, looking across into freedom, into safety, into Canada.
For you, there'll be no crying. For you, the sun will be shining, and I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right.
They were housed in slave pens. They had males and females. They separated them. And if they had more than they could hold in those pens, they would dig great big holes in the ground, cover them with a grate, and wait for the arrival of a slave ship. They were people who even, that would die beside you, that would have to remain there. So it was a horrific experience.
So much of it in the early days was simply going to someone's farm out of desperation, out of hunger, out of exhaustion, and pleading your case, please can I have a piece of bread. In earlier times, in the 1700s, coming into the early 1800s, there's still a risk of slave traders, slave hunters coming over to Canada, trying to capture the runaway and take them back. Slavery itself is abolished in Canada throughout the British Empire in 1834, so at that time it becomes more and more of a safe place and more of a desirable destination for runaways to come.
Some reasons why slaves might want to escape is because they had been shackled and they had been ingrained, this is who I am and this is where I need to be. And there is some opportunities for me out there. But if you had a family living with you, would you risk that?
To you, I'll give the world. To you, I'll never be cold, 'cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds are singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before.
We were first asked by Karen Schuessler if we would come and join she and her choir to do a performance. We jumped at the opportunity because we had worked with Denise Pelly and Steve Hollowitz in the band before. And so we would get copies of the lyrics of every song, and then I would go through tons and tons of records over weeks trying to find just the right interview that would go with the lyrics of the song. And then to put the whole concert in an order that it sort of begins in Africa and the transatlantic slave trade and slavery and contemplating escape, escaping, and then life here in Canada.
Mr. W. Still. Dear Sir, my soul is vexed, my troubles inexpressible. I often feel as if I were willing to die. I must see my wife, in short. If not, I will die. What I would not give, no tongue can utter. Just to gaze on her sweet lips one moment, I would be willing to die the next. I will leave Canada again shortly, but I don't name the place that I go. It may be in the bottom of the ocean. If I had known as much before I left as I do now, I would never have left until I could have found means to have brought her with me. I am determined to see her. Even if I die the next moment, I can say I was once happy. Please write to me and say something that will cheer up my drooping spirits. Because what is freedom to me when I know that my wife is in slavery? I remain evermore your obedient servant, Isaac Foreman.
So the night comes. We have not rehearsed with the choir. We don't really know them, other than Karen and her husband Harry and Denise and Steve. And so we come, and the church is full, and do the show. And then at the end, the ovation just, I didn't know what, it was just a totally new experience. When we look back on special things we've been able to do in our lives, and we've been lucky to go a lot of great places, there's no experience that compares with doing the Road to Freedom concert with Karen Schussler and the choir and the band and Denise.
And I wish you all the love in the world, but most of all for myself. And the songbirds are singing like they're